Hello there, guys. Now, Mark Cuban came out with his rules on how to get rich, back in 2018 or so. And recently, a student asked if I had heard about them. So I decided to make a video because a couple students expressed interest. Rule number one, live like a student. Okay, you need to live below your means to acquire wealth. If you're used to living like a student, why change simply because you have more money? It doesn't make sense. You survived. In fact, you thrived with the student lifestyle. It gives rise to what's called lifestyle creep, where the more money you make, the more money you spend. And you must have heard the expression, you need money to make money. Money makes money. So when you earn money, you need to ensure you live below your means so you've got the money to make more money. Rule number two, you shouldn't use credit cards. Credit card companies are very profitable for a simple reason. They charge high interest. And even if you get a card with 0% fees, using a credit card gets you into a mindset of borrowing and spending. Avoid. Rule number three, save up to 6 months of income. Okay, now this is standard financial advice, but you do need liquid savings just in case something happens. Maybe you lose your job or you get whacked with a big bill. Whatever. I differ a little bit with this because I grew up poor, so I try to keep about 10 years living expenses on hand, basically what it costs us to run our house and eat. Still, regardless of the details, you do need liquidity for emergencies. Rule number four, put savings into an SPX mutual fund. Okay, now what this means is that you should invest in a low-cost index tracker, a fund that perhaps follows the S&P 500 or NASDAQ or whatever. This way, you're not trying to select individual stocks, you're buying the entire index. You just need to put regular amounts of money into a passively managed low-cost tracker and let the market do its magic. Rule number five, invest up to 10% of your savings into high-risk investments. Remember the previous rule, you're saving and investing in the stock market. You've chosen a nice, safe, passively managed tracker fund, but you do need to take some risk. So invest in something that's considered high risk, high reward. Here's an example. Back in the late 1980s, I was investing in robotics stocks. This was right around the time the movie Terminator came out. Few people were investing in robots back then. It was high risk, and most of the companies I invested in back then failed and I lost money, but two did really, really well. And I made buckets of money from those two investments. So take a risk. Nowadays, you could look at cryptocurrencies or perhaps DeFi. High risk, but lots of fun. Rule number six, buy consumables in bulk and on sale. Now, this is a great tip. If you're going to eat something or use something, buy as much of it as you can and save money. So markets are a great place to do this, as are cash and carries. Any place you can buy a good quantity of something you know you're going to eat or use over time. Rule number seven, negotiate using cash. Cash is enticing to sellers who get charged processing fees when you use a card. Sure, a card is more convenient, but waving money around shows you're serious and you want to do a deal. I've got a property business and I only pay cash for my houses. I have never paid asking price for a house. I've always negotiated on the basis that I can pay cash and do an immediate deal, while others need to get a mortgage, a process which is fraught with uncertainty and can take months. Sellers love cash. So negotiate a good deal on the basis you'll pay cash. Rule number eight, read books. Now this is an excellent rule. I'm an inveterate reader and I've always got my nose poked in a book. Although these days, to be honest, it's more a Kindle. But think of all the knowledge that you can get. So on my commute, I tend to get on the train and fire up a Kindle. I just hope I don't ride past my station because the book is so darn interesting. And yes, it's happened more times than I care to admit. And finally, rule number nine, nice works. Okay, now I know lots of people from lots of different social strata, so this isn't criticizing one group or another, but being nice and showing good manners not only opens doors, but it's how you should treat people. Here's an example. I moved between trading, sales, and risk management in my investment banking career. And when I was working in sales for a big German bank that shall go unnamed, we were going to hire a new sales guy. So my boss always interviewed at a restaurant, not because we could expense the meal, but he had a simple idea. He wanted to see how potential salespeople dealt with people, the waiter or waitress, for example. Was he polite or was he a jerk? Well, you should know how this worked. Jerks didn't get the job. And I appreciated that, being a country boy. And as anyone who's spent time with me socially knows, I'm all yes, sir, no, ma'am, please, and thank you when I'm dealing with anyone. Okay, guys, that's been Mark Cuban's 9 rules on how to get rich. Now that you know what to do, go do it. Thanks for your time. Take care.